Getting straight into it, we'll talk about EFT and the progression problem that EFT has. This could be in a lot of things, but I'm referring specifically to the gear and the attachments that you can use. DeadlySlobs made a great video on this of talking about is gear too easy to acquire? Is there too high-end gear in the game too early on, preventing the low attachment gunfights, running slicks and altons since level 10? Is that a problem? Is that part of the progression problem? Great insight. I'll put a link down to that in the video down below because that inspired my video right here. I know Kleans talks about it too. They're both great sources of information in the community. Some very good opinions, some strong opinions I might add, but nonetheless, both of them inspired my video here, and I'm going to talk about the progression problem. Now, a lot of it can stem from, if you look at my stash here, I have 3 thick cases, I have altons, I have slicks, I can run decked out M4s if I want, I can run meta M4s, I can do whatever I want, I can run M995, I believe I have a few rounds here, but I can buy it easily. I have 7 million in cold hard earned cash. I have stash full of paracords, and I played a lot, and that can add to part of the progression problem. But not everyone can put like 200 hours into a game in the first what is it, 3 weeks now? I think 3 weeks and 2 days. And part of it is because a lot of progression is tied to questing and your gear level, but once you hit level 10, you can basically run whatever you want. If you know how to make money, once you hit level 10, bam, you're done. Go buy it on the flea market. Come in here like, oh, I want to run a slick. Okay, great. I'm still on ammo. Sick. Slick. Plate carrier. You have 361k? Yeah, you do? Okay. You can now run a slick. Bam. Once you hit level 10, done. You know how to make 361k? Well, right now it wasn't so hard. Or it's a little harder. At day 2, all you had to do is find 2 relays and you made 361k. Or Gauge was selling for like 260. It was super easy to make enough money to go buy a slick on the flea market. Also, first 2 days slicks were a lot cheaper. So there's been some solutions around here, and a lot of it's like, well, we make everything found in raid only, and that skyrockets prices, or you request or restrict it to questing, which, like, as you can see, well, we're 3 weeks in and I'm done with most of the quest. Every vendor's maxed and I can run basically whatever I want. So maybe questing isn't a great idea. Well, then you lock it to level. Like, say you want to run a slick, but once you get level 40, that's when the slick unlocks. That's when you're allowed to equip the slick. That's when you can put it on. But once you hit level 40, now you can run level 6 armor. That causes different problems too, because now it forces people to wear or do quests or farm XP before they can run their gear. And like, say I kill someone who's wearing a slick and I'm level 13 and I loot their slick, now I can't use it for another 27 levels or so. That causes a problem. So maybe that's not the greatest solution. I thought it was a good idea, you know, like level locking gear, because that would stop some of it, but then that causes the issue with time investment. Johnny Joe Small over there, who just got the game, isn't going to be able to run a slick until it gets to level 40. Well, Johnny over there doesn't play the game enough to get to level 40. He might never know what it's like to run a slick, and maybe that's what Johnny enjoys. But when Johnny gets to level 40, he finally runs a slick, and then he finds out he dies less. It's like, oh great, but now he has to get to 40 every single wipe. Or every single time he wants to run one, he's got to make sure he's at level 40, which takes the average player 100 hours, the experienced player 50 hours, the inexperienced player 250 hours. I don't know. It all depends on skill. I know it took me like 400 hours my first time. Excuse me, 400 hours my first time to get to level 40. So after 400 hours, you're telling me I can finally run a slick? So that's not a solution. A lot of it kind of ties to the progression in Tarkov is not linear. It's not even exponential. It's literally just like a plateau. You hit level 10 and you're done. There's no more waiting around. You can just go get it all on the flea market. Is it more expensive than, say, level 40, where basically I'd say the whole world of Tarkov is unlocked to you? No. But you can do whatever you want to run at level 10. Now, there are some suggestions that are like, when a certain part of the community reaches this level, then so-and-so gets unlocked at whatever vendor. So, for an example, say Skier, who has most of your attachment. Say, let's just take the RK2 because it's the best recoil grip. So, once, say, like 35% of the community reaches level 25, just arbitrary example, then the RK2 is unlocked in Skier's inventory for everyone to purchase. That's one way to approach it. DeadlySlobs suggested that. That's not a bad idea. You're gonna fight till the end of time, as he said, to get to there. But you know, it's a thing. It's a way to approach it. Is it a very good solution? Probably not. Same with the okay. Now you can only find the RK2 in raid. So the only way you can ever get an RK2 is if you looted off, say, a scav boss's gun, or an ammo crate, or a weapons crate, or any of the stashes. That's the only way you can find an RK2. Now you skyrocket the price of it, and you're gonna see a lot less max recoil builds because of it, so that'll lower the, I don't know if it's a skill gap, but the advanced compression, because in this game, rich people will always win. And 7 million is not even that much money, and I can make that in probably 2 days. If you're lucky, you can make that in a raid. If you're good, you can make that in a raid. I don't necessarily make millions in my raids, but you might. But yeah, so that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, which I recently thought of this suggestion because DeadlySlobs video, and I don't necessarily, it's a solution, but I don't necessarily agree with it, and that would be time gating gear in a sense, and not like, let's time gate labs for the first 72 hours, or let's time gate flea market for the first 72 hours. No, not like that. I mean, like, the RK2 is only available to buy after 4 weeks into the patch. Go to ammo, because that's the real issue, because ammo wins. They like Peacekeeper. AP 6.2, M995, M61, M62, your super duper heavy pen ammo. Can't buy those until you're like 6 weeks into the wipe. That's a way to prolong the longer gunfights, because a lot of people are using PRS or PS ammo in their AKs. You can't run 60 round mags until 8 weeks in. You can't buy level 6 armor off the flea market until 12 weeks in. If you go and find it in raid and you go earn yourself a slick, you go into labs. Kill a raider. He's fat. He's got an Alton, got a nice M4, he's got a slick. You can use that. Now if you die with it, that person can also use it, but you won't be able to go acquire it off the flea market until like 12 weeks. It like time gate the selling of items. Like Ragman, for example. Go to him. You can buy the diaper after like 2 weeks, but you can't buy the Zabralo until after like 8 weeks. Something like that. Time gate the availability of items. So that your higher end pen ammos, your higher end attachments, your higher end armors, your level 5s, your level 6. You can't get these from vendors or the flea market until later on. Further down the line in the wipe. So that was my suggestion. Because there's no way Johnny Joe Schmo will be able to compete with me because I was able to put 200 hours in 2 weeks. Well, Johnny has other circumstances that doesn't allow him to do that. How is he ever supposed to keep up with? Well, that's one thing. Well, maybe it's the time investment needed. Well, I don't think that should be the case. I think that the progression problem is a lot bigger than that. Because no, you should not be able to, like, let me put my thought together here. Okay. Like, a new player shouldn't necessarily be able to compete with me day one, the second he gets the game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if we restrict the time, he at least maybe has a chance. But I don't know. That maybe that's a little like too TOS. It's unfair. He has an unfair advantage because he's running level 6 armor all the time. Like, maybe that's a little bit too wish-washy and too snowflakey, because that's part of Tarkov. It's part of the joy of Tarkov. You never know what you're going to run into. You could run into a 5-stack of hatchlings or a 5-stack of Mosin infantrymen, or you could run into Mr. Sweaty Chad Lord himself with 2 guns and a backup slick and an Alton and a backup Alton and 6 thermals and 8 lasers on his gun because he's playing for a Led Zeppelin show or something. I don't know. But the problem with the progression here is it's not linear. It's just as soon as you get to level 10, you're done. So some of the solutions I went over, but just to recap before I end the video, would be like everything goes to find and raid. Kind of ruins the loot to Tarkov. Then you lock gear to certain levels, kind of like what we have with quests. Just benefits a lot of the higher end community more and pushes down the people who don't have time to grind Tarkov all day, or those who don't like the quest, because questing is a great source of XP. And the suggestion that I put out today was you time gate it, you time lock it. Granted, I know the solution is time locking labs, but what if someone only likes to play labs? Then you just ruin their enjoyment for the small majority benefit. Because not everyone has the problem where they can run whatever they want all the time. Some people do. And people play Tarkov whatever way they want. But time gating might not be the answer, but it's certainly a solution. But until then, we're going to keep this an open discussion. If you have ideas about how to solve the progression problem, put them in the comments down below. I'll maybe make a video on it. I'd like to hear your thoughts, because these are just some of my thoughts. It's kind of a rambly video, but you just got to get it out there, because this is going to be an open discussion until Tarkov 1.0 comes out. And if they don't solve it in Tarkov 1.0, it'll be interesting to see. But this is going to happen every single wipe until the end of time. So, that's all I got for this episode. So, if you liked the video, if you enjoyed the video, look at my PMC. No, I'm just kidding. Like and subscribe, because it helps me out a whole deal. If you didn't like the video, you could like and subscribe because it helps me out a great deal. Or you could leave a comment down and let me know what you didn't like about it. Or you can just dislike the video. That's fine too. And the most important thing to do is remember, have a great day. Goodbye.